Hello, my science lovers. About to have some Saturday morning science. You guys voted for the multiverse. Your time is important to me. And your approximate wait is about 30 seconds. Alrighty, so I'm going to take a moment to thank my patrons with this awesome video. Let's try that again. We're going to try that again. Alrighty. Huh. Can you guys see me at all? I am wondering what has happened to my camera. It seems like my camera is not working at all. What in the heck is going on? So, welcome to this. Oh my freaking God. I can't do anything right today. So my camera is not on. So you get to just look at this picture here. Oh, Lord. You know, it's not one of my shows unless I have something just stupid happening. So, welcome to the show. You can't see me at all. So, let me see if I can at least get only my image. You know, it's just, it doesn't, but at least the chat's working. So, what is going on? I'm gonna deactivate and then activate and see what happens. Why is this not in here? Everything's plugged up. This literally was working on Thursday. Oh yes, welcome to my world. So you know what, let me just add a new video capture device until I sort out why this isn't this is just, I'm going to just do my old cam. Alright, so we're just going to do my old cam now because my new cam has decided to just not work suddenly. So, you know, what's new, right? There we go. So, you won't have my beautiful HD other camera. You're going to have to deal with this one. Hello. So, you know, ugh. So, the not so super fancy nice cam, the old cam is what we're going to have to go with. Ugh. Anyway, so, welcome to the show. So here we are today. I'm going to move the chat over here for a second, and I got like a really cool graphic. So guys, we're talking about alternate universe theory, multiverse theory. Is it a single universe? Is it many universes? What are the types? Take the lens cap off. If only that was it. You can't tell the difference. It's okay. So I moved the chat up here. So you can, like, at my website's right there. So essentially we are talking about multiverse theory. So how is this going to go today if my tech decides to work? And many thanks to individuals who are like, hey, we're going to help you out, Mel, with your computer issues, because it seems like I have quite a few. So what are we going to talk about? I'm gonna put y'all right there for now. We're going to talk about what are the current theories. What is the evidence? Is there even any evidence, And what does it all mean? So prepare for your existential crisis this morning. So I didn't do like my normal intro. I could have done my normal intro and worked out all the other stuff. So let me, I guess I will just do my normal intro as my outro today. How about that? Pre-stating, I don't think we have the info to definitively answer the question as presented. I know. But, I thought we could talk about it a bit since it's so common and we see this so regularly in like the superhero world. We see it in like the Marvel universe and we see it in sci-fi. They talk about all of this alternate universes. And in a parallel universe, I'm really a dude and maybe I am a construction worker. I don't know. Maybe I'm a dude that's a construction worker who's aspiring to be a firefighter. I don't know. There's no telling. So one universe is trouble enough, isn't it? Isn't it? So thank you for joining me while I sorted out my entirely random and weird technical issues this morning. All right, so we're going to do a little bit of a breakdown here. You guys know that's me. So we're going to do a little bit of a breakdown here. We're going to talk about several theories. Notice I did not finish my parentheses on weird. So I just noticed that now too. I've been struggling with my computer today, guys. You have no idea. All freaking morning. Anywho, so little things like that go unnoticed. Anyway, so we're going to talk about several theories. And the thing is, it's hard to test that they even, exist at all. So it's a big freaking issue. And there's loads of debate. Since it's hard to test, you're like, well, if we can't test it really, what are we going to do with that? And quantum physics is kind of like the key to all of this. So it's weird. Yeah, apparently my computer is being a giant brat today. And I'm about to throw a temper tantrum over it, if I'm honest. I'm just being honest. Sorry. Anywho. Dear Saturday, please go do one. And this coughing. I promise I will get through this live stream. Carrying on. I'm just grossly unprofessional today, so I would like to apologize for the incessant coughing, for the horrible stupidness of my computer and it taking me, I was late and then this. So, there you go. So thank you for your patience. I really appreciate you guys being here. So we're talking about multiverse. Now, quantum physics. Quantum physics is key, but it's really freaking weird. And if you haven't gotten involved, hold on. So I'm going to have to do like the other cam. If you haven't gotten involved with quantum physics, if you don't know that much about it, let me just tell you right now, it's really, 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 really freaking weird. And I'll get into a little bit of that in a bit. So I'm going to hop over to a screen, and then I'm going to have to add a camera because this one isn't working. So have a look at that a second while I get my video back up with my old cam for some reason. That's the only one that's working. So there, hey. There's that. That's not the right one. Is it this one? Yeah, I think this one because I think the chat is on here. There you guys are. Alrighty. So let me get my old cam up. Video capture device, old cam. There we go. Alright, so here we go. And I'm just going to make myself a little bit bigger. There we go. Yay! The magic of multiple cameras and trying to deal with your nonsense. All right. So we're going to talk about several theories. They're hard to test, if at all. There's loads of debate, and quantum physics is key, and it's really, 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 really weird. So if you haven't checked out my episode on subatomic particles, go give that a gander. I get into all of the different types of particles. So I'm going to loosely talk about particles here. I'm not going to get into heavy details because I have discussed subatomic particles in another episode, and I get into way more detail about what they are, how they interact. I even have an episode on quantum entanglement. So if you want to learn about quantum entanglement, how particles can entangle, what entanglement means, and how when they're two halves are separated, whatever you do to one does the other. So quantum is really freaking weird, but that's essentially where the multiverse idea kind of expanded from, in the fact that some particles phase in and out, and they behave differently when we observe them. So how are we gonna observe them, appropriately, when they behave differently every time we look at it, shine a light on it? That's weird. Hey, Geek Room, hello. I saw Andy up in here earlier. Andy offered to help me with my computer, so yay. Anywho, so, frickin', there we are. I was about to say, frackin'. I'm going to turn into Yosemite Sam today. Rootinest, tootinest, frickinest, frackinest. Such is my life. So, let's talk about the different types, guys. You want to know about the different types of multiverses? Yes, we have. If you haven't checked out a really, 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 really good resource outside of NASA, and outside of, I believe, physics.org is another one. Space.com is amazing. They have really good breakdown, and they keep pretty up to date on multiverse theory and what the working theories are. So I've pulled some stuff that I found on their website and kind of got together and put together some sources, kind of dove into a bit of the science they were talking about. Is just, I was kind of looking into that. So I'll show you that link and you can check it out. And I've pulled some stuff from them, and they have a really cool breakdown on all of the different types of theories. There's 5 working theories right now. We got infinite universes. We've got bubble universes. We've got daughter universes, mathematical universes, and parallel universes. Ooh. So what does it all mean? What is all this stuff? Quarks are just a bunch of weirdos. Every time I see quarks, I think of Star Trek. I cannot be the only person who thinks that. Does anybody else think of Star Trek when they see quarks? Because I do. Oh boy. Hey, Doc Fearsome, one of my patrons. Thank you so much. Hello everyone. I'm going to take a moment to catch up. Hello, Orla. Hi, Diana, Nether. Brian, what's up? Catching up with everyone here, going through. James, David, it's like proving the existence of alternate universes. Yeah, how can you do that? It's quite the challenge. But there are things we got to sort out first. Streamlabs be glitchy. Streamlabs was not working for me, so I had to not use it. I have to uninstall it and reinstall it because it's not working so great. An old school Copenhagen, what's up? Hello. Just another human. How are you doing today? So, guys, as an aside, I'm trying to get better about scheduling live streams on YouTube so you guys can click reminders and stuff. So I'm going to be working on that this weekend. I've been up to my eyeballs with work, day job stuff. So it's been very daunting and quite overwhelming and quite stressful. But those of you who are concerned, I am working very well on putting self-care and things that I love to do as a priority, and this is one of those things. So I'm working on this, and I appreciate your patience and your support and all of the wonderful ideas that you guys are giving me. So I'm reworking the room that I'm in right now to where I'll have a separate section just for action figures. I'm going to do an action figure science show, little short, little short films of action figures talking about science. I think that'll be fun because I have a green screen. I haven't used it yet. So Big Bang Theory. Yes, I did an episode on that. So back to the topic. If you're interested in subatomic particle spectroscopy, Big Bang Theory, I have done live streams just on that. So if you're curious, you can go and check those out because that is just wow. Very, very good. I just like mixing words up. Oh my goodness, you guys are funny. So let's talk a little bit about the 3 different types of multiverses. So there are 5: infinite, bubble, daughter, mathematical, and parallel. So what does this mean? So let's talk a little bit about infinite universes. So this idea, scientists and theoretical physicists are still kind of working on what the shape of space-time actually is. They don't know. So there's one strong current theory is that it's flat and goes on and 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 on. Now, since it's an infinite thing, then it's likely that there are other universes. But when we follow along those particular lines, there's this thought that universes could then repeat themselves. Now, this comes from basically quantum physics when you're looking at subatomic particles. The thing is, subatomic particles or elementary particles, as they like to say, can only be put together in a fixed number of ways. You do reach a limit. Thus, we would see some repetition. So there's an idea that there would be repeated universes, much like our own in this idea, possibly. Maybe, it's... See, this is where my mind just kind of just goes... Because when I get into the infinite number of possibilities, I could sit here and I go, okay, but will people evolve similarly? Then we get into the nature side of things. What if the particles all got together and then we had a similar living type of universe? And you're just like, okay. And then you get all these particles together and they go and they make animals or trees or whatever. You start out, you make like your elements, and then your elements come together, and then they make these compounds. And so there's only a certain number of ways that these particles could come together on a mathematical level and to be able to make these elements. You're just sitting there like, okay. Then if it were a living universe, how would that go? So, oh goodness, it's just... So I'm going back through and looking, so it's just, and then you sit there and you go, okay, if that's possible, then if you have these infinite universes, are we going to keep them? Does the space-time work to where it's the same type of physics we have? It's something to think about. You're like, okay, all right. So do they do the same thing that we do? I mean, do they have the same laws of physics we do? And we don't even fully understand some of these things, and I'll get into that in a bit. Do I have a picture of Michael Faraday? I don't. I need one. He was the rock star of the likes Einstein, Tesla, and Edison. I know Faraday is amazing. I need to probably do a spirited science episode on Faraday. Neutrinos are so stuck up, they ignore everyone unless they put in a lot of energy. If I had 3 basic positions from the get-go, I might be stuck up too. You guys are funny. So, all right, so okay, so infinite universes, like, okay, we would probably see some repetition in that idea because particles can only be put together in a certain number of ways, Faraday cage match. Let's rumble. Oh boy. Anywho, bubble universes. Let's talk about bubble universes. Who doesn't like bubbles, man? I love bubbles. They're great. Just blow bubbles all day. You can make really good sturdy bubbles too if you get the right. Anyway, I digress. It's all based on inflating universe. Much like our universe formed through the Big Bang expansion, it's thought that other universes could form. Some research from Tufts University suggests that spots in space stop inflating and other spots keep growing. This means we could have areas that are in their own bubble. We could be a bubble universe with other bubble universes in the same in the same network. Now, physics might very well be different in those bubbles. So then we're getting into some stuff where we have different little bubbles and physics might act differently. I would really like the cartoon bubble universe. I think that would be pretty cool. You have a theory that neutrons aren't elementary particles. They are embedded neutral hydrogen. Maybe. If the black holes do contain other universes, their constants would naturally be wildly variable from ours. Yes, given that, if you have a black hole and it's just got a crazy amount of gravity, you would think that would play a significant role on how things go. I'll pit my holy aluminum with silver lining against any cage out there. So the bubble universe. It seems pretty interesting, and I'll get into a little bit more about that in a bit. And we can get some ideas on how that goes. Because, of course, since scientists like to argue, and they do like a good heated debate, at least on science things, it's kind of fun to sit there and consider the bubble universe. It's just, and we see a lot of the parallel universes and bubble universes and all of this in sci-fi and in superhero films. So it's kind of fun to think about and how different the physics would be in those situations. I mean, just maybe gravity isn't real unless you think about it, like in cartoons. Wouldn't that be funny? But, that's really breaking physics. So, physics as we know it. So, it's pretty strange. And it could explain why our universe is only accelerated in expansion for the last 5 billion years. It's because that black hole carrying our universe, eating fresh matter. Maybe. So, daughter universes. That's kind of an idea with daughter universes. It follows the theory of quantum mechanics and how in looking at the behavior of subatomic particles. So the idea with this is kind of like part of this daughter universe theory. So when you're looking at probability kind of states that for every outcome that could come from your decisions, there's like a huge bunch, massive amount of universes. So each of which saw one outcome come to be. So in one universe, you decided to buy that lottery ticket and you didn't win. Or one universe, you decided to not go jogging. And then the other universe, you decided to go jogging, got hit by a car. So it's kind of like your decision. You have a decision, but then in another universe, there's a different decision that was made instead. But there's a lot of skepticism surrounding some of that. There's a lot of skepticism when you're looking at this idea of different universes, and I will talk a bit about that. So, I'm trying to catch up on some of the chat. You guys are so funny. All right. You guys trip me out, man. You guys are funny. Black holes are out of sight. Oh my goodness. Let me see. Doc Fearsome, a black hole is any area of space-time that can't be escaped from. That's the most basic explanation. Most black holes are formed from matter being compressed by its own gravity. Yes. Hence, like the death of one of the giant stars, and then it becomes like black hole. Cosmology is pretty freaking interesting, but I don't profess to know everything about it, and I don't try. I do try to learn, though. I think that's a bit different. All right, so what about mathematical universes? Maths, as the British folk like to say, the maths. Mathematics has been really good about predicting the existence of certain particles, elements, this sort of thing, because the maths, the maths don't lie. It doesn't. And when you have predictable behavior from mathematics and the development of certain equations, that can lead to growing understanding of how other things might work. So mathematics is inherently important. Hello, Kristen. So when we're looking at mathematical universes, basically they explain the structure of mathematics can change depending on which universe you are currently residing in. Now, Max Tegmark of Massachusetts Institute of Technology, quoted in a 2012 article, he basically says, a mathematical structure is something that you can describe in a way that's completely independent of human baggage. And he further goes, I really believe that there is this universe out there that can exist independently of me and would continue to exist even if there were no humans. So then we get into this this existential crisis of what does it all mean, and does a universe exist with people not in it? Yes, it's very possible this universe existed before we showed up, and it will probably be around after we are gone. So the biologist in me is going, yes, it's very possible. You know, it's there. Maybe there's another universe out there without people in it, without any kind of life. That's kind of what he's going through with mathematical universes. That math is the structure. We can rely on that, and it could suggest to a degree that this is also a case. Now, the other theory, existential crisis, I have one almost every single day. It's very real. The more you learn, the more you realize everything is fruitless. You know, you're like, the universe is ever expanding. We're these like little hairless apes on a spinning rock circling the sun, and we're like, everything outside of our Earth could kill us. Everything on our Earth could kill us. And, you know, you're just like, okay, be humble, guys, for real. Be freaking humble. Just be humble. I have an existential crisis every single freaking day. At some point in time, I stop and I'm like, man, what was the point? What's the freaking point? And I go, well, you know, we're humans. It's great. All that. All right. So, parallel universes. Let's just jump a bit into that. Parallel universes. So essentially, this is kind of going along with the idea of infinite universes, where space-time is flat, okay? Now, there's a limit on possible subatomic particle or elementary particle configuration, and that's kind of calculated to be like 10 to the 10th to the 122nd of distinct possibilities, to be exact. That's a big number, but still, that's a limit on how, there is a fixed limit on how these different particles can interact with one another. So since we have an infinite number of cosmic patches on this flat terrain of space-time, we have a limited number of, the way particles can come together. This means that universes would have to repeat themselves. And this also means that there are infinitely many parallel universes. Now, these cosmic patches, the idea is that they're exactly the same as ours, containing somebody just like you, who instead of watching my particular live stream is sitting on the couch binge watching Daredevil and maybe eating popcorn. And maybe in another universe, somebody is watching Jessica Jones and eating tortilla chips. Or maybe somebody is going for a jog and listening to Zombies Run. Zombies Run. You know, if you hadn't checked out that app, it's pretty cool. So that's kind of the idea with that. So these patches that differ by just one particle's position. Now, patches that differ by two particles' positions are going to be a bit different. And so down to patches that are completely different from ours. So that's kind of the idea of parallel universes. But what sort of plank would have such a number? Humility is the result of realizing how much you don't know. Exactly. The more I know, the stupider I feel. That is a real thing, guys, for real. The more I learn, the dumber I feel. I'm like, gosh, I'm so stupid. But I'm not stupid. I just realize I cannot know everything. And then you have to come to terms with that. And you're like, okay, but I'll try. I'll keep trying, you know. And you're like, man, what does it all mean? And then you just sit down and have a glass of wine and try to just cope. Oh my goodness, that's funny. The meaning of life, I feel, is to help ourselves and others be the best and happiest they can be. That's actually the biggest way we can matter, I think. Carl Sagan, I think, the only way to withstand the vast cold and emptiness of the universe is love, right? Just loving one another and being that way. It is said in an infinite universe, all possibilities are inevitable, but is that true? Well, if you have a distinct number of ways that particles can actually come together, then I think that is not the case. You would have to have repetition. But that's at least what the math says, and that's also what the actual number of particles plus how they go together would dictate. So, but here's the thing. There's a lot of criticism of the multiverse theory, but there are inherently problems. Let's see. Set theorists are still arguing about that one, yeah. Oh, I look nerdy smart. Well, thank you, Black Sheep. I try to be nerdy smart. Now, for anybody who's actually interested, Stephen Hawking, his last paper that he wrote before his death, it discussed the multiverse. And you can go to Live Science and check out. And I'll show you all my links where you can go. They actually dive in pretty heavy with that. And it was published a few months after he passed away. So next month will be a year since Stephen Hawking passed. Now, this particular theory, he discussed with Cambridge University, his alma mater, in an interview. And you can check out, it was also in the Washington Post. The interview was published in the Washington Post. And I quote, we are not down to a single unique universe, but our findings imply a significant reduction of the multiverse to a much smaller range of possible universes. So he doesn't think that there's an infinite amount of universes. Well, he didn't think that there were an infinite amount of universes. There are only a few smaller statistically possible universes, given the limits that we have of interaction of particles and how they can come together and that sort of thing. So he didn't think. And I hate to speak about him in the past tense because he's been around, I feel like, well, he's been around my entire life. So it's like, it's weird that he's not here now. But those were at least his thoughts. Yeah, the loss of Sagan was a big loss to the world. So, what are we looking at when we're talking about issues? Let's talk about issues with the multiverse. There we go. Where are we? Here we are. And issues with the multiverse. I didn't change my gift. But here's our little world here. Here's our little world here. There's some issues with the multi-universe. It cannot be truly tested. This is like a legit problem. We can't actually test the multiverse. Not fully. We're not able to really do that. The particle arrangement is limited. And inflation has slowed and particles are not expanding anymore. Possible outcomes rise quickly, and inflation has to be infinite or it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Astrophysicist Ethan Siegel has an article on Medium discussing parallel universes and how this one is not likely. And it's through his particular suggestions that he has that we can't really truly test for this. And because of the limitations of particle arrangement, it's extremely unlikely that we would have an exact parallel universes. And since inflation of the universe has slowed, particles are not expanding anymore, possible outcomes can rise quickly out of this. So once we start getting into, well, if we do this one and then this, and then in an alternate universe this happens, and we know that inflation, the universe is less than 14 billion years old. So clearly it wasn't an infinite inflation going on. So unless inflation is infinite, it's not going to be able to work. We have to have particles that are consistently expanding at the same time. So, oh goodness. I think a restatement to all likelihoods are inevitable, but might be more correct, but even that may have exceptions. Yes. Yes, so we got to kind of think about all of this and how this actually comes out. There's no way we can fully test that this is happening, that we have multiverses. So let's talk a little bit about what is going on and what would need to happen in order for us to fully understand all the things. So the issues with the multiverse is that we cannot really test any of this. We have mathematics to give us ideas and quantum physics to learn from, but even that is pretty weird in that we change particle behavior just by observing it. So, for instance, light. Anytime we shine light on something, particles act differently. That's just how they do. So some research suggests that a cold spot found in space is an example of bubble universes hitting each other. This cold spot was found in 2004 and confirmed in 2013 with a particular NASA mission. It is highly unlikely that it was produced in the birth of our universe, but it is a mathematical conundrum in that it goes against this inflation idea. This is what our current working theory, especially associated with the Big Bang. The issue with this idea of universes bumping into each other is that we cannot possibly prove that has happened with the current tech that we have. Until we fully understand why light travels at the speed it does, why an electron doesn't have mass, why light doesn't have mass, what exactly makes up gravity, the elusive graviton, we can't possibly begin to enter into the realm of the multiverse until we have fully understood our own. And to be fair, the physics in these other universes could very well act differently. So they could act differently, they could behave differently, but if we don't have these questions answered as to why light has no mass, why it travels the speed that it does, why can't we we understand a bit better why we can't go as fast as light, why don't electrons have mass? All of these different things, until we can sort out why these things happen the way that they did in the beginning of our universe, there is absolutely no way we can cross over into the multiverse idea. So, is this moving too fast to have mass? I don't think so. I don't think that's it. Also, we have alternative explanations for so-called supervoids other than the bubble universes bumping into each other. Yes, that's true. Supervoids are a thing. How does interferometer work? I'm not certain, but I can certainly look into that and add it to my list of stuffs and things that you guys want me to talk about. Oh, so I'm going to show you really quickly some of my sources so you guys can dig on this on your own, and I'll put these on my website. It's Magic Woo. Kidding, of course. The world is amazing. So check this out. All right, so I had a limited amount of time to kind of get this together because of the stupid computer thing. But do check out space.com. You can check out now.tufts.edu. Articles Beginning Was Beginning. He talks a bit about the Big Bang. The Live Science article, just Google Stephen Hawking Multiverse Theory. The Guardian had a pretty good article you could check out. Very easy to read. Have astronomers found evidence of parallel universes? Not really. Not really. But it's still interesting read nonetheless. Quantum Magazine, Why the Many Worlds Interpretation of Quantum Mechanics has many problems. There's another particular article you can check out. Smithsonian Mag has a pretty good take on physicists improving multiverse. Just as a warning, Smithsonian Mag might crash your computer. I've reached out to them on Twitter and how I cannot have their website open because it freezes my computer every time if I'm looking at other stuff. And then the astrophysicist I discussed on how his ideas of parallel universe, Ethan, the multiverse, and you, check out his article on Medium. It's really, 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 really good. And I think you guys would enjoy that a lot. And if mass does reach the speed of light, would it have the same properties of massless particles? No. According to our physics, I don't think it would. We have no idea. A Guide to the Unknown Universe. Yes. I love that title. We have no idea. Expanded reporting for my taste. Fair enough. QMag might. But it's a good jumping start. It's a good jumping point if you're trying to dig in a bit further. So like, since certain things like electrons have weird properties and light is just crazy to think about, could that be proof of sort of any alternate dimension that interacts with ours? We have no idea because quantum physics is so strange. If you think you understand quantum, then you don't understand quantum. It's so weird. They have to rely a lot on mathematics, on established mathematics in order to predict, and then they go through and see if they can find. Math actually helped discover other elementary particles. So a lot of quantum is based heavily on mathematics because math has been very, very good at predicting the existence of other particles. And then as we grew the ability to detect them, we were able to find them in that regard. So that's why maths is really, really important, guys. So because it's allowed us to get into areas that we wouldn't have known existed, but we have the ability to predict it based on mathematics. Excuse me. So it is so awesome, man. I think my allergies are just crazy. So quick update on what's going on with my channel. Next Thursday, I'm going to have Shannon Q and Brief Brain Facts on as we talk about the Alex Jones psychosis thing. We're going to talk about ethics a little bit. We're going to talk about what psychosis actually is. And, we're going to dig in a little bit on the responsibility, especially when we're looking at the Sandy Hook parent who recently died by suicide. Oh my gosh, throat, stop. I am so sorry. Welcome to the world of live streaming, guys, where your host will just infinitely cough into the microphone and apologize and thank you for your patience. Oh my goodness. Welcome to the world. So next Thursday for This Week in BS, we will be talking about Alex Jones, psychosis, ethics, and responsibility when it comes to networks and how words matter, including harassment of people that lead them to death by suicide. So thank you guys. So Does every proton have a corresponding electron? No, I don't think so. The Earth remains a natural electronic neutral. There's, I don't know about that. That doesn't sound accurate. Hello from Canterbury, England. So do check out next Thursday. That's going to be 8 p.m. Central. 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, or Daylight Time, whatever it is now. We will be talking about Alex Jones, psychosis, and all that. If you missed last Thursday, I had Nate Brody on with Drag and Artemis, and we broke into the Monsanto trial. A verdict is not the same as scientific fact. And Nate's wonderful because he got really into the what the law does and what you have to, what hurdles you have to jump to even get a case like that in. And so even the court said it was based on some junk science, but it was just enough to get it in front of a jury. But a lot of the science was kind of junk science. So do check out that episode. And I'm bringing back my podcast. Yay! So I figured out how to convert audio files from my live stream. So a lot of my podcasts will be like This Week in BS, where I have other people on and we're discussing different things. My latest episode I'm going to upload on my website. Should be available on iTunes. It's hashtag Hey ScientistMel all together. And the one that'll be up first, bringing it back, is the one on anti-vaxxers and Facebook. So you will probably really enjoy that. Oh, goodness. You like the detection of chemistry values and their relative commonality in the visible universe. That would tend to say constants not likely have much variability, at least in our seeable area. True. Study at Build a Crystal Radio. Okay. I have some friends of mine who are engineers. I'll talk to them about that, James, and see what's up, what they think. Yay for people from Kent. I was clicking on you, Kristen. Oh, goodness. I subbed. Yay. Laser beams to me. I don't post anything on YouTube. It's okay. Oh, Kirsten Foss laser beams. Oh, you don't post anything on YouTube. Ah, okay. That's okay. All right. Well, I want to thank you guys for being here. So I'm going to take a moment and show you where all you can find me in the world. Where can you find me in the world? You can find me on ScientistMel.com, Patreon.com/ScientistMel, Periscope, YouTube, Facebook. I'm also on Twitch. And if you're one of my patrons, I'm going to be sending out your video soon on a personal thank you for the $10 and up patrons. And, you know, my patrons help me out a lot. They help me out so much. So if you can, like, buy me a coffee once a month or lunch, you know. And I am updating my Teespring merch store with new merchandise. So you can wear really cool t-shirts, get stickers. I have some people that are designing, that are digital artists, that are designing some stuff for me. Yay! So be certain to keep an eye out for that. And my patrons will have early access to my latest podcast episodes, which will be really awesome. And that's going to be a weekly thing because I have plenty of content. And if you can't contribute in that way, please have a ScientistMel marathon in your house while you're spring cleaning. Just press go and do that. Oh, Doc Pearson, you guys are awesome. So let me show you. We already discussed where you could find me. So what are the things that we have talked about? We have talked about, not that. Here we go. We have talked about what are the current theories, what is the evidence, and what does all mean? These multiverses. We've gotten into a bit of that. It's just a whole lot of up in the air, but it's still a lot of fun. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to go check out Shazam later on today. Possibly in an alternate universe. Maybe there's a little kid and I'm the Shazam superhero. Wouldn't that be funny? Oh my goodness, wouldn't that be funny? So I'm oh God, wrong screen. See, it's one of those days. So I'm going to end it with Mr. Rogers unless anybody has any other questions. I've got to see about fixing my computer. because I'm having some issues that I wasn't having just a few days ago. So, like, share, subscribe if you can. Yes, of course you can do that. You can click that like button, you know, like mash it really hard, and all of my stuff can be embedded. Your comments are not working. Oh no. Spring is in the air and it's in my nose and in my throat. It's terrible. But what do I do for a living? I don't talk about like my actual job. I don't talk about my actual job because I do have like a really awful stalker. And so I can tell you what I used to do. I've done research in the past. I have a breast cancer test that I helped engineer while I was in grad school, working on my master's in chemistry, and it earned me a publication. I've worked in protein recombination. I have been an educator in the past, teacher. I've done all kinds of things. I can legally teach 3 subjects in the state that I am in: physical science, biology, and chemistry, and any subjects that overlap across those. I have enough cred to where I could also teach at university. So yeah. Anyone else shows up, but that one comment was error now 4 times. I'm sorry. So yeah, so this is what I do for fun, and the main reason why I do this science communication stuff is because we need more people talking about science out there, and I'm hoping to have more interactive programs, including I would really like to have an online-based STEAM school that has a set curriculum, and have various teachers be able to get involved, but also connect them with local universities to go and have hands-on experiences, as well as museums. So that's a goal. And another goal is a science communication convention, kind of like Comic-Con except for science. And so to be able to kind of start that and have that expand and to have more outreach programs within communities to kind of benefit science education and research. So it's kind of what baby steps, but we're moving, we're getting there, we moving along, but it's taking some time. But those are goals, and that's what I'm trying to do with this: have content people can use when I'm not having issues and coughing my brains out. So yeah. So yay. So thank you guys for being here. Excuse me. Yeah, G Plus is gone, so I'll have to remove that off of my YouTube videos in the future. So I'm going to end with Mr. Rogers and say, you always make each day special for me. You know how? By just your being you. So I'm going to show this awesome video of my patrons, thanking them for their contributions. And if you can help me out, patreon.com/ScientistMel, or a one-time donation, paypal.me/ScientistMel. You guys have an awesome Saturday, and I will see you next Thursday and next Saturday. Same time, same channel. Next Saturday, I will be talking about generic versus name brand drugs. What are the difference? How are they similar? Is there a big difference or not? And then the following will be Ehlers-Danlos. So those got the next few weeks set up. So awesome. So you guys have an awesome, awesome day, and I will see you next time. Bye.